I'm 2% Chinese, so don't tell me I can't identify as Asian when a man with 0% of a vagina can identify as a woman. Now walk with me. Full-blooded Asians are too humble to do this, so let me explain to you why Asian families don't have half the issues of you other people. We are the wealthiest group, do the least amount of crime, have the least amount of pronoun warriors, and have the lowest unemployment rate while you big-backed bums sit on the couch. We Asians emphasize discipline, education, and a strong family unit instead of the victim Olympics. Notice how you don't see Asians complaining about injustices of the past or apologizing for what our ancestors did? Why would I feel guilty about what Genghis Khan did? Yet, universities make us score significantly higher than other students to get into the same schools. We have no choice but to be elite. Oh, Xavier, you're only Asian when it's convenient, and y'all only know what a woman is when it's convenient, goofy.
We believe is the most racist person in the room. We want to rename the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument. Would you mind signing it? You will? What do you think about this issue of heteronormativity and how it intersects with the broader structures of racism in society?
They gonna say I'm racist.
What's up with white people? What are you doing to decenter your whiteness?
Who's making it the center? Why are they doing that?
And what you're doing is you're stretching out of your whiteness. Listen more for you and less for you. White.
Folks.
White.
Trash. White supremacy. White woman. White boy.
White.
Entitlement.
White.
Centering. White. Silence.
Is there a black person around here?
So there's a black person right here. Does he not exist?
They gonna say I'm racist, but they call everybody racist.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. And what's your name?
I'm Matt.
Matt. Hi, Matt.
Nice to meet you.
I just had to ask who you are because you have to be careful.
Never be too careful.
They gonna say you racist, but they call everybody racist.
Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Thank you, Corinne. Democrats on Capitol Hill are being handed this card with talking points about the vice president and the border. Do you know who's handing this out?
I have no idea. You probably should ask her campaign.
So,
Kamala Harris, you are not getting any vote from the Indian community. Specifically because you do not talk like this. You are half Indian and I've never seen you eat chicken tikka masala. Kamala Harris, have you even seen Om Shanti Om? Do you even know how to say hello in Hindi? It is Kyawa, by the way. But don't use that in your speech. I have not seen you wear a sari once in your life. Donald Trump will get the Indian vote, however. Do you know who runs all of Trump's IT software? That is correct. Indians. We run all the tech support on Truth Social. Kamala, I don't ever want you using your half-Indianness ever again. We revoke your Indian access. You are not allowed to Uber Eat from any Indian restaurant ever again. Indians, shame Kamala Harris. Shame.
You're not commenting on this issue. You are directly impacting the Hispanic demographic in a negative way. You are directly impacting what is happening with the children in this country, and you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing as a representative, representing women in this country. Shame on you.
Hey, Montana, I just want to show you what's going on in the Capitol today. Hamas is coming. You see the Capitol. I want to show you here. This is what we face. Abolish the USA. Today, they took down our flag. We put it back up. God bless America.
So because I'm gay, I can't vote for Republicans because that's voting against my own rights. Because Republicans are so against gay rights, right? Remember that time when Trump won in 2016 and Republicans had control of the presidency, the Senate, and the House? And remember how they didn't do anything to gay rights? Apparently, you conveniently forgot about that part. And you might recall that we currently have a conservative majority on the Supreme Court. Apparently, the most conservative Supreme Court in 90 years. But weirdly, my gay rights are still intact. Strange how Republicans have had every opportunity to go after gay rights and they have taken none of them. Maybe, just maybe, Republicans aren't actually after gay rights after all. Maybe you've just been brainwashed by propaganda. Because I think if Trump and the conservatives really wanted to end gay rights that badly, they probably would have done something about that by now. But instead, they've been busy launching global efforts to decriminalize homosexuality.
So I'm not sure where you got that number, because according to data from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, at least 44,172 black individuals were newly admitted to California state prisons under Kamala Harris's reign as Attorney General from 2011 to 2017. Percentage-wise, that breaks down to 23.6% of all new incarcerees being black, despite the fact that black people only make up 5% of California's population. In addition, her office sentenced to prison 83,370 Hispanics, which made up 44.5% of all new admissions to prison. Now, I don't believe in systemic racism, but anyone who does, you progressives, with this at front of mind, definitely should veer away from Kamala Harris. I'm not sure where this 45 number came from, but I've been seeing it everywhere. It is a lie. I was banned at 1.5 million followers, and now I'm rebuilding, so hit that plus sign, please.
Joe Biden addressed the nation last night in what was a pretty uninspiring 11-minute speech, but if there's one thing that's become abundantly clear, there's a lot we're not being told. Now, for starters, while Joe Biden addressed the nation, his family looked on like they were in mourning. Look at Jill, look at Hunter, they look like they've seen a ghost. Honestly, they sort of have. In his address, Joe Biden talked a lot about saving democracy. He was stepping down to save our democracy. Well, not so fast. Joe wants to talk all the time about saving democracy, but is it saving democracy to coronate Kamala Harris on a Sunday afternoon? The Party of Democracy just circumvented the will of the people. There was no real primary, no open convention. They just chose Kamala and gave her all the money they'd been raising for Joe. In all honesty, we could have done without this address to the nation. It was pretty much a bunch of malarkey. He sat there and lied to the American people, said he was stepping down of his own volition. That's not true. Nancy Pelosi and the donors pushed you out. I've seen hostage videos with more personality than Joe Biden's address to the nation last night. He did not want to be there, okay? He says he's stepping down of his own volition. If he could have held on to power, he would have. Now, the one thing Joe Biden said that was absolutely absurd was that border crossings were down. Well, Joe Biden, if border crossings are down right now, it's because everybody on Earth has already come through. There's nobody left to enter through the southern border. Joe and Kamala have overseen the worst immigration crisis in American history. Look at the data from when Biden took office. The numbers spiked. Now, for the millions of Americans who just get their news watching Rachel Maddow on MSNBC, they're going to buy whatever Joe Biden and the Democratic elite are selling.
On the verge of becoming the Democratic nominee, many are looking back at her record in California as an early indication of what a Harris presidency could look like. Here's former President Trump on a press call last night.
She's destroyed San Francisco, which is a hell of a thing to do. If she becomes president, Kamala Harris will make the invasion exponentially worse. And just like she did with San Francisco, just like she did with the border, our whole country will be permanently destroyed.
Nicole Castronovo is a Los Angeles-based criminal defense lawyer, and she joins me now. Nicole, Kamala Harris bills herself as tough on crime, but her record doesn't necessarily reflect that. What red flags stand out to you from Kamala Harris's record?
Some of the things that stand out to me from Kamala Harris's record, especially are Prop 47 in California, which sought to make misdemeanors into a number of felony crimes that existed in California. And in essence, it let out criminals from the jails, and it's caused a lot of problems here in California. Theft is up, all sorts of property crimes are up, and she was a big supporter of that. Additionally, Harris has made stances that are confusing. Sometimes she takes a stance that she's against the death penalty, and sometimes as Attorney General, she was then defending the death penalty.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. And what's your name?
I'm Matt.
Matt. Hi,
Yeah.
Matt.
Nice to meet you.
I just had to ask who you are because you have to be careful.
Never be too careful.
They gon' say you racist, but they call everybody.
Somebody says he had to, they don't understand the presidency. If he were investigated and he was about to be impeached and maybe removed,
That's so obviously false that I mean.
Oh, it's not
fair
so
enough.
obviously false. I'm telling you, he did not have to.
give it
He
up.
had
He has
all
not
the
given it up. He's still there
No,
for
no,
another
no, but
6 months when he's manifestly incapable.
Tell me how you know he's manifestly incapable.
I'm sorry to say that this is a sensitive matter where there are a lot of folks who have been talking about this for some time.
Oh, yes, I've heard them too. My doctor tells me he thinks he might have something, but he also says, but he's not my patient.
And look, the deeper problem, the deeper question is who is actually in charge at any given time? You know, this notion that he's only sharp for 6 hours of the day.
Right.
This is an incredibly volatile moment in part because of his failures.
Are we having
this
everything you're saying, I'm sorry, is speculation. Let me
Yeah.
tell you what is not speculation.
It's not
What is
speculation that he's
no,
a
it is
massive
speculation.
failure when it
No,
comes
it is
to
speculation because
sparking
actually,
geopolitical
unlike
crises
you,
around the
I've
world.
actually seen the guy at 9 o'clock at night. I have seen him after he has had 5 different events in 24
Might that
hours.
cloud your judgment?
No, what?
Do you think that makes you more objective?
Well, the fact that I have actually seen him, whereas you're just reading gossip and speculation.
Gossip. We all saw the debate. We all saw the debate where Joe Biden was clearly incompetent, unable to address questions that he should have been able to address. We know that Robert Hur and Merrick Garland kept those audio tapes from the public.
And Democratic lawmakers were...
Long before she met Doug Emhoff, she dated some prominent men, including in 2001, former talk show host Montel Williams. Back then, he was the famous one and had to introduce her to the paparazzi.
A corrupt witch. She's been corrupt her whole life, and she fucked her way to the top. Oh, they used to detail this witch in the L.A. Times with her sexual escapades. She fucked damn near everybody trying to get up. She used to be a frat hoe when she was at Howard. And she ain't black. You know, I ain't got to do this, Miss Harris. No, I mean, well, don't, but she's I don't know. I'm just listening. Well, here's the thing. I actually met her father.
I wonder why people call us conspiracy theorists. Why is Joe Biden's watch a different time than what his speech was supposed to be at last night? They told us it was live. I don't think that's true at all.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, you guys haven't had a press briefing since President Biden dropped out of the race. So.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead.
The United States launched a targeted operation against that compound.
They did a lot of shooting, and they did a lot of blasting, even not going through the front door. You know, you think you go through the door. If you're a normal person, you say, knock, knock, may I come in?
After a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden and took custody of his body.
He died like a dog.
But his death does not mark the end of our effort.
A beautiful dog. A talented dog.
We give thanks for the men who carried out this operation.
And I don't get any credit for this, but that's okay. I never do. But here we are.
May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
And I'm writing a book. I think I wrote 12 books. All did very well.
Kamala Harris knows what she needs to do. I was there. I gave her all of the policies that she needed. All of them. And she refused to implement them. She does not care about you. She does not care about the safety of this country. He does. This is the man for the presidency.
Thank you. Wow.
Trump supporters are spreading a brand new lie about Donald Trump's rally in the Bronx yesterday, and it's so obviously not true. So this was Donald Trump's crowd size at his rally yesterday. Very, very small, very underwhelming. But Trump supporters are trying to claim that this screenshot was from before the rally at around 11 a.m. because it says 11:09 down there. But that's not 11:09 a.m. That's 11:09 p.m.
Who's going to be the one to tell Harry that the sun sets at 8:19 p.m. in New York City and not 10 or 11 p.m. in New York City? So what the hell are you talking about, bro? Are you fucking this delusional? How could that photo be at 11 p.m.? And just to debunk your whole entire theory, let's look at the temperature yesterday at 11:51 a.m. In New York. It was 75 degrees, which is also reflecting on the freaking image that you showed, brother. Come on. There is no way that your brain saw that photo in broad daylight and said, hey, this is actually 11 p.m. I'm going to go on TikTok and I'm going to make a video clowning it. There's no way that that was your thought process when making this video.
She was never assigned the position of border czar. They're making that up.
Vice President Kamala Harris is now beating Donald Trump in new polling that was just released today. I gotta admit, this is not surprising. Kamala Harris has this energy behind her candidacy. There is this momentum that is currently with the Democrats, and the Republicans and Donald Trump are learning to play defense right now.
Well, that didn't take long for you to jump ship, Harry. Your boy Joe Biden, he's out and you're immediately on to Kamala. If you think that young people are going to vote for Kamala, maybe you should remember that she said this about 18 to 24-year-olds.
Remember, age is more than a chronological fact. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories, and they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
Oh, and if you think that she's for black people, let's not forget what she did for black people as an attorney general.
She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Yeah, I won't be voting for Kamala Harris, and nobody that I know will be voting for Kamala Harris.
And I always say, but they never do it, turn the cameras around to show them the crowd, but they never do it. They never do it. They never want to do it. They just don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. I don't know why. Even the semi-friendly camera, they don't turn. You know, I used to think it was a physical thing with the camera. You know, this.
We are all in this together, and your vote is your power. So please make sure your voice is heard this November and register to vote at vote.gov.
Can I get an amen?
Amen! Now on with the show.
And remember, you better vote.
About a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution. Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place. As opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. Not everybody starts out on the same base. We see that people in our country are having an experience that is not equal. So when we talk about the work we are doing here together, it is recognizing that and being guided by this principle of what we must do in the spirit and in the interest of equity. To put equity firmly at the center of our economic policy. But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing.